Good morning. It is good to see all of you online today. I'm Jo Celine with the OUUC Tech team. I use they, them, or she, her pronouns. Welcome to all who are joining us on whatever platform you are using. This Zoom service is being recorded and it is streaming live to YouTube. We are leading worship from several locations today, including the OUUC Sanctuary and the Commons, so you will see the service move back and forth between several places. This format is new to us, and we are working out the glitches, so thank you in advance for your understanding and your patience. Most of our sharing happens in the Zoom chat box, which is not posted or shared publicly. We use the chat feature for greetings, song lyrics, affirmations and applause, and items shared from the heart. Please save your comments for the coffee chat or feel free to contact Reverend Mary at minister@ouuc.org. We will be turning the chat on and off during the service today. We can expect some tech glitches as we continue to do all we can to optimize our connections. If you experience any technical issues during the service, you can reach out to me or any other member of the tech team for assistance when the chat is on. We appreciate the grace as we all remember it's about connection, not perfection. Last, I hope you will find a candle or a chalice, and in a moment we can light them together. Thank you for your grace and adaptability as we all learn together.
Good morning. Let's sing together, Morning Has Come. It's hymn number 1000 in the Teal Hymn Book, or you can find the lyrics to the hymn posted in the chat. Thank you for singing.
Good morning. Welcome to the Olympia Unitarian Universalist Congregation online worship service. We welcome each of you to this celebration of love and wonder and to this congregation. The OUUC community comes together in the mutual promises and possibilities of our covenant. We envision an interconnected world that is loving, just, and healthy. We commit to live out our mission to welcome and wonder, embrace and empower, bridge and become. We're so glad that you are here. My name is Alicia Seegers Martinelli. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a member of the worship arts team. Leading worship with me today is our minister, Reverend Mary Gear, our music director, Troy Fisher. Our speakers include Tiffany Felch, Neil Weinberg, and Beth Johnson. We give thanks for the tech team and OUUC media specialist, Jo Celine, for providing technical support today. And we especially thank Riley McLaughlin, Mike Kyer, and Fritz Reedy for joining Joe to help live stream this service from the OUUC Sanctuary. Thanks to Darlene Sarkala, our administrator, for keeping us informed and connected. Thank you for the choir members in the comments today with Troy, who are helping sing this morning, and for the breakout room hosts. We are grateful for the many hands that helped make worship happen this morning. After service, we invite you to stay online for a virtual coffee chat. This is a chance to gather with a small group and say hello and check in. Each breakout room will be hosted by someone to help make sure everyone knows each other and has a chance to share. Reverend Mary will offer reflection questions to get the conversation started. We hope you'll stay. I want to draw your attention to the order of service, which includes our announcements available on the website. A reminder that the congregational picnic that was scheduled for this afternoon is going to be postponed due to the increase in virus transmission in Thurston County. We're back to the drawing board to plan something for next month. So stay tuned to the Tuesday weekly update. The full moon meditation is this evening at 7 p.m. This Sangha uses the teachings of Thich Nhat Hanh to build awareness and create community. You can find the Zoom link on the OUUC website. Everyone is welcome and experience is not needed. Next Sunday's service will be led by Reverend Aaron Walter, who is a community minister, activist, and musician based in Austin, Texas, where she is affiliated with the Wildflower UU Church. You can learn more about Reverend Aaron on her website, which will be in the chat. There are many opportunities to stay connected to our community because social distancing does not mean social isolation. Please check the website regularly. If you have any questions or need help, please check in with a staff member. Now, let us open our hearts and our minds as we prepare for worship. Welcome, everyone. It is good to be together. This morning and every Sunday morning, we join Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world in lighting a chalice, the symbol of our faith tradition. Please join me as we light our chalices together with these words by Judith L. Quarles. At this hour, in small towns and big cities, in single rooms and ornate sanctuaries, many of our sibling Unitarian Universalist congregations are also lighting a flaming chalice. As we light our chalice today, let us remember that we are part of a great community of faith. May this dancing flame inspire us to fill our lives with the Unitarian Universalist ideals of love, justice, and truth.
I'm the Reverend Mary Gear, and I use she, her pronouns. Our opening words this morning are titled The Church Incarnate by Elizabeth Mount. Come into this place bringing all you hold with you. Though your heart be heavily burdened, whether you be on the brink of tears or burn with unquenchable rage, this community can hold you and your strongest emotions. Yes, even the messy ones are welcome here. Come in if you sing just a bit too loud, if you hold still as a statue and just breathe it in, if you sway to the music moving your soul, you are welcome. Come in and say amen when the Spirit moves you. Tell the preacher to preach it. Yes, that's right, tell us. Or close your eyes and quietly let your mind float free on the blessed words. Come into this place with every piece of yourself gathered up, and let us be the church incarnate. Let us bring forth the spirit of all that we love by the words of our mouths and the doing of our hands as we make sacred this time together. Come, let us worship together.
Let's sing together our opening hymn. It's hymn number 145 out of the gray hymnal, or you can find, as always, the lyrics to the song in the chat.
As tranquil streams that meet and merge and flow as one to seek the sea, our kindred hearts and minds unite to build a church that shall be free, free from the bonds that bind the mind, the narrow thought, the lifeless creed, free from the social call that fails to serve the cause of human need. A freedom that reveres the past, but trusts the dawning future more, and bids the soul in search of truth adventure boldly and explore. Prophetic church, the future waits your liberating ministry. Go forward in the power of love, proclaim the truth that makes us free.
Thank you for singing.
The story that I have for you today is about our ancestors. Once upon a time, there was a group of people who believed that God was one. While many Christians believed in the Trinity, that God was the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, this group believed that God was whole, was a unity. This group was called Unitarians. At the same time, there was another group of people who believed that everyone was worthy of the love of God. While many Christians and people of other faith traditions believed that some people were unworthy, even sinful, and would go to hell, this group believed in a loving God. Even more, they believed that all people, no matter what, deserved love, and that God's love was universal. This group was called Universalists. Over time, the Unitarians and the Universalists talked about how they had many things in common and believed many of the same things. They worked together on social justice issues. They even talked about combining their organizations and faith traditions. Conversations about combining the Unitarians and Universalists started in the late 1800s, but didn't get serious until the 1930s. The song we just sang, as Tranquil Streams, was written in 1933 to celebrate the growing connection between these two faith traditions. And when the two groups got together to create a new hymnal in 1937, this song was published in that hymnal. And while the Unitarians and Universalists sang about tranquil streams, their talk about combining was anything but calm. Even though they shared some of the same beliefs, they had many, many differences. Unitarians tended to be educated, professors and bankers, lawyers and wealthy merchants. They were the elite. Unitarians valued knowledge and intellect and were suspicious of emotions. They usually lived in the city and were middle class or upper class people who believed in helping the poor, but who usually had not ever experienced poverty themselves. They were independent and well organized so that congregations could be independent too, making their own decisions and calling their own ministers. And Unitarian ministers, who were all men at the time, were trained at Harvard Divinity School. Universalists tended to be farmers and small merchants, teachers and fishermen, working people who were not wealthy, and people who were poor. They lived in the country rather than the city. They valued spirituality and expressions of the spirit, emotions, in their worship services. They believed that leaders are called by the Holy Spirit rather than educated in college. They valued community and helping each other. They were organized to make decisions together, and they evangelized, bringing their message into new communities and building new congregations. Unitarians at the time said that Universalists were too conservative, too emotional, and just not like us. Universalists, who were smaller in number, were afraid that the bigger and more organized Unitarians would swallow them up and they would disappear. For a long time, leaders in the two groups were unable to come to agreement about how to make decisions and organize themselves. Finally, in 1960, the Unitarians and the Universalists agreed to consolidate and created the Unitarian Universalist Association, or the UUA, an association of congregations. The song "As Tranquil Streams" was sung with great emotion to celebrate the successful vote to form the UUA. And when the UUA was created, there were still some decisions that needed to be made. So the two groups agreed to hold an annual conference where Unitarian Universalists would come together to worship and make the decisions of the association. The annual gatherings are called General Assembly, or GA. The first one was in 1961 in Boston, when the UUA was officially born and when the first UUA president was elected. There has been a General Assembly every year since 1961 for the past 60 years. We gather to worship, to learn, to work for justice, and to do the business of the association. This year we gathered online, and next year we'll gather virtually and in person just down the road in Portland. The song goes, "As tranquil streams that meet and merge to flow as one to seek the sea, our kindred hearts and minds unite to build a church that shall be free." Thank you for sharing a story with me.
Good morning. My name is Beth Johnson. I use she, her pronouns, and I have been a member of OUUC for 2.5 years. As I learned more about OUUC, I was pleased to learn that we are a part of the UU Association and was interested in participating in GA as a delegate to better understand the association, be a part of a larger body of UUs, as well as being able to vote on the social justice issues facing UUs in our nation. Listening to different views on the issues being considered gave me a broader perspective regarding dismantling white supremacy and systemic racism, not only at the association level, but also what is happening with the eighth principle in other congregations. Since technology has become such a vital part of gathering, the tech team involved in the meetings and the voting showed great skill so that things went smoothly and really enhanced the experience I had. I was impressed that 4,000 UUs attending and 2,000 voting delegates coming together to discuss the current urgency and breadth of the social issues being brought to light by the events of our nation. By passing the statement of conscience, the call to action to transform our understanding and move forward individually at the congregational level and the association was evident in everything that was addressed. Even though we were virtual, one could really feel the energy generated. One of the most exciting things to me was the vast diversity that was represented and acknowledged, from honoring Native American lands to the people who were speaking, describing themselves physically in their introduction to better assist those people who were visually challenged. This was the first time I experienced this, and once I realized what was going on, it just made so much sense, because what a great way to add to people's full experience that was being presented. The speakers were informative and inspiring. Listening to Stacey Abrams and Desmond Meade talking about voting was one of the highlights for me. Even though their experiences in life were very different, each is doing their part to protect our right to vote. Hearing the energy, positivity, and forcefulness of Stacey Abrams, I could better understand how she accomplishes so much and moves so many. As my awareness of the depth of white supremacy and systemic racism in our everyday life deepens, and how these ideas affect all of us, the discussions and ideas expressed at GA lead me to continue to further examine my own ideas that take white privilege for granted. It is my hope that by continuing to educate myself, I will continue my own transformation and assist OUUC in broadening our concept of a welcoming and inclusive congregation as we create a loving, just, and healthy world. I encourage anyone to attend GA in 2022 as a delegate. Being a participant in the business of UUA is a great way to feel more connected to our larger association. My partner Lee Doyle also was a delegate and shares wholeheartedly the experience that we had together. Thank you.
We came together in community this morning, bringing all that is in our lives. In this space, we draw on the strength of our community to listen deeply and hold all that we bring here with us. In this space, we share from our hearts what brings us joy and sorrow, what brings us worry and delight, what makes us afraid and what makes us dance. Let's open our hearts to the complexity of life, our own and others. If you would like to send in something to share, please look for the link on the online worship page on the OUUC website, or send me an email and we'll bring it into the service next week. You will hear a drum beat as we share today. It brings into our awareness that our individual hearts beat, and together we create the heartbeat of our community. Right now, let's just take a breath together, in and out, as we open our hearts to receive the complexity of all that is in our lives and community today. Let's open our hearts to those impacted by the ending of the United States troop presence in Afghanistan. There are many broken hearts and many fears about the future. We hold in love the people of Afghanistan, especially those who identify as women. We hold in love those who served in Afghanistan, especially those who were injured in body, mind, and spirit. We hold in love those who lost loved ones in Afghanistan, no matter what country they were from. There are no winners in war. I invite you to share from your heart by entering in the chat on your screen. This is a time to share all that you wish, joys and sorrows and whatever else is shared from your heart. As we take in what is posted, let us hear the heartbeat of our community and reach out our hearts in love and care to all those who share. For the few who are in the sanctuary this morning, I invite you to come forward if there is something you'd like to bring into community. You may place a stone in the water as you hold your sharing in your heart. We place a stone in the water for all that has been shared from the heart, a stone holding the complexity of our lives, held in the water of community. And we'll place one more stone in the water for all that we hold in our hearts and that remains unspoken. I invite you now into a time of reflection, prayer, and meditation. Infinite web of life, spirit of love, great mystery. Some days it's just too much. Too much to do, too many hard decisions, too much hurt. On those days, may we remember that the web of life and love is strong enough to hold us all and to hold all that is. We may not feel strong, but the web is strong enough. May we draw on that strength. As we face all that is, may we remember the days of celebration and the moments of joy. May we find them in each day, for they are real too. And on all days, may we remember to breathe. In this moment, notice your breath. We breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Remember to exhale. This is the steady rhythm of life. In and out. In and out. May we close our prayer and open our hearts with 3 breaths as we hold silence together.
Let's sing together hymn number 1013, Open My Heart. We'll sing it once together in unison, and then 3 times together as a round. Nice breath, here we go.
Open my heart to all that I seek. Let me be part of the love you give. Open my heart to all that I seek. Let me be part of the love that I seek. Let me be part
Our prayers and meditations deepen our gratitude for what we know as sacred in our lives and in this world. Each Sunday, we express our gratitude by joining together in service to our community and to something greater than ourselves. The offering collected here does two things. It supports the ongoing work of OUUC, which is also supported by your regular pledges. The offering also supports an organization that serves our community in harmony with our Unitarian Universalist values. For the months of July and August, our Share the Plate recipient is the Family Support Center of South Sound. Founded in 1992, the Family Support Center provides families and children and survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault with coordinated support services. Their mission is working together to strengthen all families. Your contribution is needed to help their ongoing diversity, equity, and inclusion work. Family Support Center envisions a community where we are all valued, nurtured, and have the resources to be strong, healthy, self-sufficient, and hopeful. Please note that you can participate in the offering by making a donation online through the church website or by texting the number that will appear on your screen in just a moment. You can also mail a check to OUUC. Our community partners continue to need our financial support. May the offering now be generously given as it is gratefully received.
Hello, I'm Tiffany Felch, and I use she, her, or they, them pronouns. I was grateful to be able to attend this year's UUA General Assembly from Wednesday through Sunday, June 23rd through 27th. This was my second year serving as an OUUC delegate, and the second year that GA was entirely virtual. Last year, due to COVID, GA moved online on short notice, and it was my first year attending, so it seemed like a steep learning curve for all. This year, I was much more comfortable with the format, the technology, and how to plan my time to avoid Zoom fatigue. The magic, momentum, and spirit of the GA experience came through beautifully in the virtual format. Previously, my experience of GA was limited to the Sunday worship service, streamed here at OUUC on the big screen. I would enjoy searching the crowd and delight in seeing many OUUC members in the audience. GA is always held the last week of June, which typically coincides with the end of the school year for my kiddos, so I appreciated the virtual format of the past 2 years that made participation possible for me. Before attending GA, my curiosity and interest had been piqued when I read various articles about the controversy. Yes?
I'm so sorry to interrupt you, Tiffany. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty, so folks aren't seeing you right now.
Oh, okay.
So we're just going to take a minute to see if we can fix that, and if not, we'll prop a laptop up here so that folks can see your beautiful face.
I think so. All right.
Wherever you like.
Sure. Let's see. Before attending GA, my curiosity and interest had been piqued by reading various articles about a controversy surrounding a 2017 hiring decision by the UUA that uncovered unfair practices and racism within our denomination. I was unable to attend the GA in 2019 in Spokane, but heard secondhand accounts about a schism there with the publication and distribution of a series of essays by a UU minister in Spokane. Since this time, I have keenly watched and felt the process unfold as the topic of dismantling white supremacy culture has become an urgent and central calling for many UUs. It may have been the RE program, the hymns, the stories, and sermons that brought me through those doors 8 years ago as a newcomer, but it is the anti-racist and anti-oppression focus of this denomination now that keeps me here and engaged today. In this regard, General Assembly did not a diversity of voices from the BIPOC community, LGBTQIA voices, youth voices, and disabled voices. This centering and uplifting of historically marginalized people was revolutionary and transformational and showed me that another world is possible. The leadership from white cisgendered elders on how to show up in these spaces with grace, authenticity, and love was like a salve to my broken heart. If we can do this deep and meaningful work in our denomination, I feel the effects can ripple out into the world, into our congregations, into our families, and into each and every heart. It would be impossible to share all the highlights from 4 days of content in my limited time here. But suffice to say, the opening celebration and the worship service, the varied worship services were transcendent. The 5 general business sessions where we conduct the work of the denomination were fascinating, engaging, and meaningful. The Ware lecture, where we heard from Stacey Abrams and Desmond Meade about voting rights, gave me everything from climate justice to anti-racism to healing the trauma of living in these times, helped me to see a path forward for our interdependent web of life. Some of my deepest learning and takeaways were gained through small group breakout sessions with UUs from all over the country. I could tell you more, so much more, about the contested board election, the actions of immediate witness we adopted, the responsive resolutions, the statement of conscience. But more than details, I guess I just wanted to share the feeling of being something bigger than myself, bigger than all of us. Just as a congregation can achieve more than any one of us alone, our congregation can achieve more when we're part of a coordinated effort within our entire denomination. Next year, GA will be in Portland, Oregon, and I hope that it will be safe to gather in person because I really want to attend. Whether we attend in person or online, I hope to see all of you there. How beautiful would it be for our whole congregation, the board, the leadership development, worship arts team, pastoral care, faith in action, and all of our members and friends to be infused with the love and spirit that I experienced 2 months ago. Another world is possible if only we do the work, imagine it together, and live our vision. In closing, I wanted to extend an offer to discuss GA further. I'd be happy to elaborate on anything I've said here, to share my experience, or just answer general logistical questions. I welcome those conversations. Thank you, and blessed be.
Neil Weinberg prepared a beautiful video that he recorded ahead of time and that we have not been able to access. Sorry, I got muted there for a moment. Neil Weinberg recorded a beautiful video and his reflection on his experience of GA, and we've not been able to access it this morning. And so with apologies to Neil and apologies to you,
I'm sorry, Reverend Mary. Please don't unmute yourself. You're still being picked up by the sanctuary mic. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for letting me know, tech team. We were arguing about which mic to use, weren't we? I'm so sorry. And arguing seems to be what we do well as UUs. So thanks for letting me know, Teresa. So we don't have Neil's recording to share with you this morning, with apologies to Neil and apologies to you. Neil also had a transformative and transcendent experience, and we'll post it on the website as soon as we can so that you can access it there. If you have ever attended a General Assembly, you will be asked by someone at some point, how is your GA going? This question names that GA is a communal experience. We gather together, and it is also an individual experience. You've heard experiences shared today from Beth and Tiffany, and you will hear Neil's when you access it on the website. They were all at the same GA, as was I and thousands of other people, even if from our own homes at the time. And we each brought our own life story to the experience. Every single one of us does the same. We bring our individual experience to our communal gatherings. The UUA was formed by people with dreams and visions, who faced crises and celebrated triumphs, who fought out disagreements and stayed in relationship throughout. We are individuals who choose to journey together. I've attended General Assembly every year since 2015, when I started on the path to ministry. Each year is both different and the same. It's the same feeling of celebration and power as we gather to affirm our values and principles. I was at GA 2015 in Portland when we heard the announcement that the Supreme Court legalized same-sex marriage in the US.
Sorry, now we're having sanctuary mic problems, so maybe we do need you to unmute.
Okay, thanks tech team for the cue to unmute myself. So it's very different to be online rather than in person, and there's always new things to learn and practice. And no matter how long and contentious the business meetings are, or overwhelming the number of workshop offerings are, or the sometimes 2-hour or longer worship services that happen, I still say, these are my people. You are my people. Our Association of Congregations is more than just two religious traditions coming together. We're more than the sum of our parts. The premise of our joining was that we could create a common faith, that we could reconcile our differences, and that we could be stronger together to build a better world. We have inherited the promise of that joining, and we are living into that promise 60 years later. We'll continue to do so. These are hard times in ways that many of us have never ever known. The need for love and justice is the same as it was then and has always been. We may not always have the words and may not always know what to do, but I do know that we are better together. So we circle round for freedom, and we circle round for peace. We're better together, and may this always be so.
Let's sing together our hymn number 155, Circle Round for Freedom. We'll sing it once together in unison and then twice together in harmony, and then we'll come back together for another time in unison.
Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us in prison.
you for singing.
We extinguish our chalices today, remembering that our time together is always about connection, not perfection. And we extinguish our chalices today with these words by Elena Westbrook. Go in hope, for the arc of the universe is long, and we can bend it towards justice. Go in courage, for together we have the strength to confront injustice in our daily lives and in the larger world. Go in love, because a holy and generous love is both the reason and the means by which we transform our lives. May we move in peace.
Let's sing together our unison benediction.